Welcome to the TTC Wheel-Trans online booking video help series. In this video, we will be covering booking an occasional trip. Let's get started. To log in, go to mywheel-trans.ttc.ca. Enter your Wheel-Trans customer number. The number can range from 2 to 6 digits. Now enter your password. If you use the old online system, your password has not changed and you can continue to use the same password. If you are a first-time user, your password is your month and day of birth. For example, May 31st would be 0531. Once you have entered your user ID and password, click Login, and you will be taken to the At a Glance screen. To book an occasional trip, click on Book a Trip in the red header at the top of the page. A new page will appear that shows two choices: book an occasional trip and book a regular trip. An occasional trip is a trip that will happen only once. A regular trip is a reoccurring trip that must be booked at least 8 days in advance. To book an occasional trip, click on Select under Book an Occasional Trip. You can book a one-way trip, round trip, or multi-trip. A multi-trip is a trip that occurs in one day and includes multiple stops. For example, home to work, to shop, and then home again. In the entry field marked A, enter the address of your trip's origin. If you have any favorite addresses stored and registered, you can click on the heart icon to see your list and then click on the one that you wish to use. You can store up to 9 favorites. You can click on the clock icon to add an address of a trip you've taken recently. Anytime that you book a new address, it will be added to your recent places list. There is no limit to the number of addresses that are stored in this list, but an address that has not been used in 18 months will drop off your list. When entering an address, you may see a landmark icon. These are designated TTC Wheel-Trans stops and pickup locations. Please select a landmark location whenever available. In the box marked B, enter the address of your destination. Next, you must select whether you want to book your trip based on your departure time or arrival time. Click on Depart at or Arrive by under the address selection fields to select an option. Enter the date that you would like to travel, then click the boxes below the date box to select the time. Click the plus on the right side of the Assistive Devices box to see the assistive devices you are expected to have. Assistive devices are stored for you and will default to your primary assistive device. If you change your assistive device from the default device shown, you must change it manually on all portions of your trip. The final selection is passenger information. If you are traveling with an attendant or companion, please enter their information here. Enter attendant or number of companions along with any assistive devices. Use the Add button on the bottom right to add devices for your attendant and/or companions. Once you have entered all trip information and confirmed that all you entered is correct, click Search Trip. A new screen will open with the details of your trip, including a map on the screen that will detail the route of your trip. If you are an unconditional customer, the trip detailed will always be door-to-door service. If, as an unconditional customer, you prefer a family of services trip, click the button at the top of the page titled Search Family of Services Trip. If you are a conditional customer, the trip presented will be a family of services trip where applicable. If a family of services trip is not applicable to the trip requested, the trip presented will be door-to-door service. If you would prefer door-to-door service, click the Search Door-to-Door Trip button at the bottom of the page, and a door-to-door trip will be presented. When reviewing an occasional trip, you can also provide pickup and drop-off instructions and a contact phone number. If you are satisfied with the information presented, click Submit Request. A page titled Transaction Details Trips Successfully Saved will open, detailing your trip and status, either scheduled or waitlisted. At the top of the page, there's a printer icon. If you click Print, a printer window will open and you can print a copy of your trip details. These steps apply to booking a one-way trip, a round trip, or a multi-trip.